Today, people nationwide and here in central Florida are reacting to U.S. and Israeli strikes that reportedly killed more than 200 people in Iran, including dozens of top military officials. Late this afternoon, major breaking news was confirmed out of Iran. President Donald Trump and Israeli forces say the strikes killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Israeli officials had been reporting this for several hours, and President Trump later repeated the claim on his social media platform, Truth Social. Iran says more than 200 people were killed in the attack, and that number is expected to rise. The strikes reportedly targeted a meeting of high-ranking officials. U.S. officials say dozens of them were eliminated. In response, Iran launched retaliatory strikes across the Middle East shortly after the initial attack. Unlike past incidents, the first explosions in Tehran happened in broad daylight. President Trump described the operation as major combat action against Iran, saying the objective is to defend the American people by eliminating what he called imminent threats from the Iranian regime. The U.S. and Israel carried out the coordinated attack, with smoke seen rising from multiple targets in Tehran. Iran responded with drones and missiles targeting Israel and U.S. assets, including military bases. Iran also launched drones toward countries it believes are assisting the U.S., including Kuwait, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Jordan. The strikes followed a significant military buildup and days of speculation about whether President Trump would authorize action. He had previously expressed frustration with negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, stating that Iran can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. The president did not seek congressional approval for the strikes, while he claims Iran is working on a missile capable of reaching the United States, U.S. Intelligence assessments have suggested Iran would not have that capability for several years. Reactions have poured in from around the world. The White House says President Trump has spoken with leaders from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, and the NATO Secretary General. Briefings for members of the House and Senate are being arranged. Across the globe, protests and celebrations have erupted. In New York City's Times Square, thousands gathered to protest and condemn the U.S. and Israeli actions. In Israel, people were seen rushing for shelter as warnings of incoming Iranian missiles were issued. In Germany, some exiled Iranians celebrated, saying they believe outside intervention is the only path to freedom for the Iranian people. Others protested outside the Iranian embassy in Berlin, where police increased security. Locally, protests also took place in Orlando at Waterford Lakes Town Center. Demonstrators held signs reading, "Hands off Iran" and "No more wars." Many expressed anger at both political parties and said they want an end to escalating conflict. Some protesters said they have participated in multiple recent demonstrations and believe change comes slowly but requires persistence. Political reaction in the U.S. has largely fallen along party lines. Many Republicans voiced support for the president's decision. Democrats criticized the move, arguing it was unconstitutional and lacked proper authorization. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran has a long and complicated history. In recent months, protests have spread across Iran and tensions have increased over nuclear negotiations. Earlier demonstrations in Iran resulted in numerous casualties. Now, following these strikes and Iran's retaliation across parts of the Middle East, the situation continues to escalate. The United Nations has called for immediate de-escalation. The UN Commissioner for Human Rights said civilians ultimately pay the price in armed conflicts and urged all parties to return to negotiations rather than continue military action. As tensions rise, the global community is watching closely to see what happens next.